Welcome back to Inspiring Hope, the community where we always encourage one another to have only positive expectations through true self-care. I'm your host, Dr. Traci Williams, and today I have another fantastic host that's going to help me out today here. And her name is Miss Laura Giles. She is a certified trauma therapist. Isn't that exciting? Yay, I'm excited about that. Laura, you want to just give a shout out to everybody today?
Hey, thank you all for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Well, I'm excited that you're here. Laura's also she takes a holistic approach to helping Earthlings remember who they are before the trauma sets in and before all the social programming that we experience or that was taught them from fear. And she loves putting things in order and creating a safe, fun space for people to be their best self. And because that's what she thinks when they are their loveliest, which is, I agree with that totally. When we are our best, then we present the best, right? And we feel the best. So then we just give out the best energy possible for everybody that we do come in contact. So thank you so much for being a part of for this show today. I really appreciate you being on here, and I love the topic and everything that you're doing. So today's topic, you guys, wait for it. It is when hope fails. When hope fails. So when hope fails is definitely, what we're going to talk about. Or if not fail, people do fall through the cracks when it seems like hope fails. Because you know what? It's not necessarily always what we think is happening is what's actually happening, but it is the way that we perceive it. Right? So yeah, so we're just going to dive into this topic right here today that I'm excited about. But the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what made you pick this topic?
Because lots of people fall through the cracks. And I think a lot of people think that it's something that they're doing and they don't know how to get out of it. And if you don't know what you don't know, then how do you find your way out?
Exactly. Perfect. So it's good. Yeah. So how do people find out what they don't know? How do you help them get to that place where they find what is really going on?
Well, it was tricky for me because as a trauma therapist, I do ask all the right questions the first time I see somebody. But what happens a lot of times is that people, I ask them, is there any trauma history? They say no. And that's their perspective. But if you grow up in that and that's your life day in and day out, then it doesn't seem like trauma to you. And a lot of times too, in my middle class backgrounds, so these are people who didn't grow up and they weren't malnourished, they weren't beaten, they weren't molested or things like this, but I can see in their body's responding as if they have trauma. And I'll ask them, they're like, no, and I trust them to be the expert in their own experience. So if you're telling me no, I can't say that you have had trauma, but the body is saying that, and the body doesn't lie. So it takes me a while to figure out, what have you experienced that you're not recognizing as trauma? So it could be that your parent was super critical and nothing that you ever did was right. And so, you just felt shame all the time. Or it could be that you were neglected. So there's lots of latchkey kids and they just was nobody home. So you never had any validation. Nobody told you, hey, it's time to go to bed. There was just nobody there. That's also can be traumatizing. Or it could be something like you just moved around a lot. When you don't have roots and you're not stable, then that can interfere with your development and your sense of safety in the world. So it doesn't have to be, I was in a neighborhood where there was a drive-by every night. But lots of people are experiencing trauma and have no idea. So they're out there in the world just feeling like, I have a kick me sign on the back of me and I just can't get a break and I don't know why. But it's because their brain is wired differently. So they see danger, they see negativity, and they don't take chances because it just doesn't feel safe.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, with our perception, because it's kind of like whatever we believe is true for us.
Right.
Yeah, at that time. But thank God for people like you and like myself that can help get you to that place so you can take that deeper dive and, get into finding out, what that really is. Yeah, so that you can remove that trauma, or those traumatic experiences and bring in real truth and real joy and real love and real peace and, all the goodness that we deserve. And that's really already there,
It is.
when we're first born, we're born with that seed of love,
That's right.
but things happen and it gets covered up, kind of
That's right.
mucky. Yeah. And so, it takes somebody else to come in and help you. But yeah, and I love about the body language because the body does speak. Body has memories just like we have, memories as well. But tell me this, what do you think, what do you do when people can't find hope or the things that people, what do you do for them when they just can't find it, they can't figure it out?
If they're willing. So when you're in that space, words then it's just not effective because the trauma resides in the part of the brain that the language doesn't connect to. So you can talk and talk and talk and talk, and they might get in on an intellectual level, but it doesn't go very deep. And quite frankly, probably most of them have already Googled stuff or been to a therapy or read 10,000 self-help books, and it's still not going there. So what I do is I use nonverbal techniques, go into the unconscious. So there's lots of different things, somatic stuff. So we talk to the body. The body knows, the unconscious knows. If you're doing things like dreams or hypnosis or metaphors, because reality is metaphorical. We translate it into words, but true spirit is metaphorical. So when you're speaking the language of spirit, you're going directly to the source and you're just bypassing all that other stuff. And then it becomes easy. And then once they start to see how quick things can change because you're changing it on an energetic level, then they start to get excited. And, then the hope starts coming. Oh my God, this could be different because you feel it. It's not just like, oh yeah, I think that's better. No, you feel it.
Right, because we get out of our head and then connect it with the trueness of the core of who we are.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So can you say that little piece again about the energetic portion of us? How does it, how we get that connection there? Just anything on that?
Yeah. So it's like you said, it's always inside of us, but people who have trauma. So sometimes I'll ask people, can you see the light inside of you? And they'll say like, no, what light? Which is okay. Everybody's not visual. I'm like, well, can you feel it? Does it feel like a warmth in your heart? Or I'll try to get them just to connect with it some kind of way. And for a lot of people, it's just, they think it's really not there. So once we get some stuff shifting and they can feel that energy, we can imagine anything. I can imagine there's a boogeyman there. I can imagine, what an apple smells like. But typically, when you have a felt sense of something, we're not making up sensations in our body. So when your body is shifting like that and you feel that energy in your body, it's a real convincer that, oh my God, something really is changing here. Oh my God, I do have light inside of me. And once you have that hope, it is such a powerful thing. You can do anything.
Right. Yeah. It's like they start experiencing the enlightenment of
like
that. Yeah. Oh, this is real. It's like to the point of you can't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, there are some people that sometimes they feel like so many things have happened, like they have that domino effect of like something that is always, so you start expecting the negative to happen. And when you're expecting that, of course, it's going to happen, so
that's right.
Yeah. And that's the faith that we believe, or that's how we build up our faith, is it just keeps coming. We keep hearing it. We keep saying it, even in our mind, if we're not saying it out loud, because we're just thinking, okay, what's next? So our mind is kind of stuck in that mode of, or where the brain is always protecting us, that protection.
That's right.
Yeah. And so we're always on the lookout, like, I can't trust this one. You can't trust anybody. But we have to, get to some point, if that's you and you can't trust anybody, where you're able to let down your guards, at least for a moment, because if not, your brain never has a chance to rest. And if you don't have a chance to rest, you're already doing harm to your own self, So what's your take on bad luck? Or are some people just born unlucky or what?
So Funny that you should ask that. I have a client who says everything is bad luck, and my take on that is that it's learned helplessness. So there are some experiments on. They had these dogs in these cages, and they shocked them, and the dogs could jump over the cage and get out, but once they had shocked them enough, they didn't even try. And it's the same thing, like if you have a critical teacher or a critical parent and everything you do is wrong, or you start to anticipate that, then you're not even going to try. And so you have no power. So bad luck is just, this is what's happening to me, and I have no say in it because I have no power. And once you get over that learned helplessness and you start to realize, wait a minute, I do have power, I can make things happen, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
But it is tough because it is so ingrained in you and you just truly believe it. But I think anybody who's saying that, you're prosperous because you have good luck and I'm not because I have bad luck, that's trauma talking. That is not real at all.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I know. And sometimes it's happened so long and from a start, especially if it's something that's happened when you were a child or something like that, childhood memories, our brain starts to protect us so we can cover that up, and really believe that, no, that was somebody else. That wasn't me, So I do totally understand that happened to me. So that's why I can really understand that, been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe it's possible that anybody can manifest whatever they want, even if they have experienced trauma to that extent?
I do. Absolutely. Because we're all creator beings, every single one of us, and we're all tapped into the light and the source 24/7. As all you have to do is believe it. And there's so much messaging from birth that tells us that we're not that. We're small, we're limited, resources are limited, and it's not. Everything here is created in part by us. And I'm not saying that we're God, we created the mountains and all of, but we're a part of that. I'm the part of you, you're a part of me, I'm a part of everything. And together we collectively create everything. So if that's the case, let's create beautiful things. Let's create lovely things. Don't create more fear. Don't create more limitations. I think we have enough of that. I think once everybody realizes that, and if you get into that lane of let's do beautiful things, everything could change instantly overnight.
Yeah, that is true. We just have to actually believe it. And I know, for me, some of the, one of the techniques I love to use with people is I strongly believe in affirmations, but not just saying them over and over like rotely or, but once you start to say them and you believe them and you start feeling it, you have to embrace it. And when you embrace it, it's just like, wow, I'm acting as if this thing is really true, So if you go to bed believing, you know what? There are no limitations. There's no limit on me. Like I can do whatever, whenever, and however, within the guise of, saying that things that are, helpful to myself and helpful to other people, that doesn't break the law, those type of things, and then, you get to a point where you can get a little more specific, lining up with what your actual core values and your core goals are, for yourself and just, hey, I'm so happy and grateful. And I love that I live in next to the beach or next to the ocean, those kind of things. So I totally agree with you that we can manifest the things that we want, but it does take belief. It does take work. And sometimes that work can be painful, but, you gotta get to the other side of, it's like we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, but it's just a shadow. It's not really.
That's right.
And it may feel like it, but, my old people used to tell me, everything that feels good to you is not good for you.
That's right.
It's like before you get to the actual rainbow, you have to go through a tunnel sometimes, and so you got to get that tunnel vision. And that's why I say it's important to connect with people like yourself so that you can go through that, because you're not going through it alone, but you have somebody where you can't see, you can't tell, but somebody on your side rooting for you saying, you can do this, you can manifest whatever you want, you can get that hope that you need. But what is your number one piece of advice for somebody who is struggling and going from, survival mode to actually thrival mode?
So it's kind of hard to condense this down, but you kind of touched on it when you said it takes work. It does take work, and you got to be willing to do it in the right order. So I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, I listened to you, I believe you, and they just want to go straight to the top. But you have to take care of the trauma first, because if you don't, that fear that's inside of you, all that negative programming is going to sabotage you.
Yeah.
And if this happened from a child, and there's going to be stuff that you didn't learn, so you're going to have to learn that stuff. Like, I have a lot of clients who don't know how to take care of themselves. They're grown and they're making it, but they don't have good habits. Like, they don't go to sleep at a regular time. They don't have a routine. They don't eat good food. So these are real basic things. You got to have your basics tight, or your body's going to rebel. Something, because everything is connected to everything else. So deal with the trauma, deal with the basic life stuff, and then start focusing on you. So you've got to be straight before you can connect with anybody else. So I got good boundaries. I know what my values are. I know what I want, those kinds of things. Now, once I am there and I can love myself, now I can connect to other people. And I think that is the root of everything that's wrong, is the lack of connection. Because when you have that connection to source and each other, then there's no problem. You know who you are, and that energy just flows through you. And I'm not saying that you can't have it without doing all of that stuff, but I think it's a rare person who just wakes up one day and be like, boom, I got it. Not to say that that can't happen, but most of us need that foundation. We need to prove it to ourselves. We need, that's why you have the hero's journey. You don't just get up and slay the dragon. You got to train. You got to get some in and connect. It's possible, absolutely, because we were never disconnected.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes we just put up those walls, and we just need to tear the walls down, or
that's right. Yeah.
Find out and see, where are the walls? Are these actual walls? I've been just so used to everything is so like one way, and because I understand that, been there, done so thank God that I've been changed, and things, I can see differently. And I sure believe, just like you said, anything is possible. And the more you say it, the more you feel it, you see it, you just go to bed, you wake up like with that smile, like even if it don't feel like it, just the thought that it's stopping me, something may come and block me, but not for long. Like, I'm going to connect with somebody else, and they're going to tell me a way out, or they're going to show me something, or I'm going to see something along my journey in life, so I can get out of this and I can thrive and not just survive. So tell us a little bit about how people can connect with you and what you have for them.
Have a community where people can connect and learn how to do this. I really believe in that whole connection thing. And if you're coming from a place of darkness and no hope, you need to surround yourself with people who have it. Because we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And if you don't have positive influences, it's going to be a real tough road. You can't get clean in a dirty bath. So I do believe in networking and connecting and being around inspiring people who know more than me. And wherever you find that, I would encourage people to do that.
Exactly. Well, that's good. You guys heard it today, and you have some very basic steps. I just want to, I'm taking notes over here. I have some basic steps that she said, and I love the fact that she said, do things in the right order. So if you feel like, you don't have hope, there is hope there. It's possible for you. She's number 1 is like, deal with the trauma. 2, and then start covering the basic things in life, 3, focus on yourself, like your boundaries, your values, goals, things like that. And then, making sure that you start connecting with other people. Hope I got that right. I was
Yep,
talking
yep.
fast. I was trying to get it, girl. Yeah, so this is awesome. You guys can definitely get in touch with her at Laura Giles, that's GILES.org, and make sure to connect with her. Now, do you have some classes also that you provide?
Yes, but they're sporadic.
Okay.
I don't have anything that's ongoing. So we do things like I host moon circles for women to connect. We do trance dancing to connect with spirit.
Okay.
We do lots of body stuff. Like I taught a boundary series a month ago, and it's all body based. So it's not heady stuff.
Okay.
It's feeling how your body feels when I stand this close to you.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So people really, really get it when it's experiential. So I really like experiential work.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I offer.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything else that's coming up with you in the future, Nick? And tell us about your podcast, because she has a podcast too, you guys. So you guys can check her out as well.
My podcast is Surviving to Thriving, and you can find it on Apple or anywhere. And that's really what it's about. Those steps that I was talking about. Yeah, it's about how to do those and some things that maybe you didn't think about, because that's really been my thing in the last probably decade, is coming across people who just don't know real basic things. And if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time to come and share with us today, and hope that you can come back again and share even more.
Well, thank you for